While Shameless follows the Gallagher family in all their schemes and misdeeds, the show also puts a serious emphasis on the love lives of Frank's children, especially all the Fiona Gallagher boyfriends. She had a knack for making reckless and impulsive decisions, which extends to her romantic partners. In the world of Shameless, Fiona's boyfriends are often as reckless as she is. From Steve in Season 1 to Ford in Season 9, all of Fiona Gallagher's love interests from Shameless seem to share a few qualities. More often than not, it's the same drive that the Gallaghers possess when it comes to making a space for themselves in their cutthroat surroundings. Some are good people with whom Fiona wouldn't mind settling down, while others are never intended to be more than a one-time fling. Some fall in the middle of Fiona's love interests like Jimmy Steve, who was problematic but also long-term. Jasmine. A one-sided romance. Jasmine, played by guest star Amy Smart, was introduced as a PTA mom for Debbie's class in Season 1. And the two strike up an easy friendship thanks to their mutual distaste for the other less fun moms of the group. It's quickly realized that Jasmine is much more free-spirited and affectionate than Fiona is, often inviting her to various parties and trying to set her up with eligible bachelors. She also often kisses Fiona on the lips, hinting early on that Jasmine may want something more than friendship. Jasmine's behavior becomes more worrisome as Shameless Season 2 carries on. She has multiple affairs against her husband Hal, parties harder than ever. Things come to a head when Jasmine is kicked out of her house by Hal and throws a boat party, inviting Fiona and her ex Steve. There, Jasmine admits her feelings for her by kissing her, but it's clear Fiona doesn't reciprocate. Their friendship is later ended when Fiona refuses to let her live at her house. Jasmine clearly had issues she needed to work out before she could be a good lover for anyone. Richard. The short stint sugar daddy. Fiona smiling in a restaurant in Shameless. Richard only appears in 2 episodes of the series, but he turns out to be one of the worst of all Fiona's lovers on Shameless. Richard is a lot wealthier than most of Fiona's boyfriends and was introduced to her by Jasmine in Shameless Season 2. Richard is a sugar daddy, and Fiona remains wholly convinced that he isn't married and tells him that she doesn't date married guys. Nonetheless, she is charmed by him, despite appearing wholly uninterested at first, and the two go out for a short time. Fiona finds herself ashamed of her socio-economic status and lies to Richard that her house is Adam's when she accompanies him to a fancy wedding. The entire episode has pretty woman undertones, as it's made abundantly clear that the rich man is fetishizing the girl who comes from nothing. Richard's friend ends up making a play for her, and he's surprisingly understanding toward her, and the two have a nice moment on the limo ride home. However, Fiona feels very uncomfortable in his sphere. He's also married, so there was never a chance that she and Richard would work. Robbie. One of Fiona's worst decisions. Everything about Fiona's relationship with Mike is toxic, and it's an affair that Fiona keeps a secret because it happens with her boyfriend's brother. Not only does she dislike him, but she's almost afraid of him. She's nervous around him for a reason, and she knows that their meetups are wrong. She feels bad for cheating on Mike, and even worse because her relationship with Robbie is purely physical. Out of all of Fiona's lovers on Shameless, Robbie turns out to be one of the most destructive and detrimental to Fiona's life. For his part, Robbie knows exactly what he's doing with Fiona. He knows that she's seeing Mike and that he's ruining both her relationship and her career. Essentially, Robbie destroys everything she has going for her at that point in her life. He's among the worst mistakes Fiona ever made for this reason, and technically one of the main antagonists for Season 4. He mooches off of Mike and his parents, claiming that he could never subscribe to the boring life of having a desk job. He eventually reveals the affair to Mike, earning a well-deserved punch in the face.